And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus on this Tuesday, April 29th. It's 1:07 in the afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with our Ag Director, Bridgette Readel. And we have 7 guests today.
Yeah, you forgot the two in the hall.
Oh, so 9 now.
It's a great day. Over the weekend, as I mentioned, I had the opportunity to be at the Enderlin FFA chapter banquet on Saturday night, and we had a lot of listeners say, we like it when you bring students in. And I said, well, boy, this is your week. Because what we are doing today is I had a request from Mrs. McPherson out at the Northern Cass High School asking if we could work with her creative writing class. Is that the best way to describe creative writing? And they were curious about writing public service announcements and so forth. And I said, well, we don't just have to write them. We can bring everybody in. And I gave the assignment, because suddenly I'm the teacher, and said, all right, you all got to pick something that's ag-related. So we have students today that are going to help us present and talk about everything from food dyes to using durum for pasta to tariffs and so much more. So it's going to be widespread and fun. They're nervous because they say, what if we don't know?
Have fun. This is nothing.
What they don't realize is half the time we might not know either.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going off a script, so we just wing it, too.
I just put this paper over here so it looks really impressive. That's all that matters. So, yeah.
It's nice to see the sun today after that blizzard of rain yesterday, I guess you could call it.
That got a little vicious. Thanks a lot.
Man, if that was snow, we'd still be shut down today.
I would imagine.
Yeah, with the 50-mile-an-hour winds. And
So 2 inches of rain at my house, and this morning, all the puddles in the driveway, solid ice. We froze last night. Froze hard.
Yeah, and it looks like that should be our last hard freeze of the season. Now, we've got a couple of frost days ahead, but I don't see anything in terms of another hard freeze, so that's good news there. For today, though, we still have plenty of sunshine outside, and temperatures a little cool, only in the 40s out there right now, and we'll warm up today to about the low 50s. With winds turning to the southwest at about 5 to 15. Now, tonight, we'll see a few more clouds come into the area. That'll keep our temperatures quite a bit warmer. After bottoming out in the mid-20s this morning, we'll bottom out around 40 tomorrow morning. And then a lot of clouds around for tomorrow. We'll see some scattered showers developing as we head late in the day. More so towards evening, with highs in the mid to upper 60s tomorrow. And then scattered showers tomorrow night, and then Thursday cooler with highs dropping back into the 50s with a few scattered showers on Thursday. About a quarter inch of rain, if that, out of this rain event coming Wednesday, Thursday. Then we'll dry things out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and warm it up. Friday around 60. Let's not put the cart before the horse.
Easy.
I know, but then the weekend looks great. It will be breezy with highs in the mid-70s on Saturday and mid to upper 70s on Sunday. The weekend looks really, really nice. It'll give our farmers about 3 days to dry things out before, unfortunately, more rain comes back in for early next week.
A lot of guys are currently doing fix-it and repair days. If they got started and something broke, needs to be modified, et cetera, this is a good chance to get that done.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, how long? So 2 inches of rain. I know it depends where you're at.
Soil types.
Yep, but on average, what would you say, how many dry days do we need after that 2 inch rain, 1 to 2 inch rainfall?
All right, so let's use our Here We Grow field up at Gardner, North Dakota.
Which is a little more clay.
Which is a heavy Fargo clay soil. And also we've got a little bit of corn stubble on it from last year, so you have some cover, mostly black soil. But when you look at that, you need a solid 5 to 6 days of nice warm weather to get us dry. And that's going to run us right up against the fact that we are going to get rainfall again. So it's going to take us a little while till our field is ready for us to plant a crop.
Right.
Welcome to farming.
Now, how late is too late?
So small grains.
It depends what you're.
Yeah, small grains. There's a lot of small grain already planted. Doesn't mean we can't still get it in early May. In fact, soybeans. The first year I was doing this job with you guys 3 summers ago, we were planting soybeans on July 5th.
Oh, was it that late?
We had some replants. We had some drowned out acres. Oh, yeah, we've gone really late. Corn, you're going to find a hard cutoff date. Sunflowers, I'm not surprised to plant sunflowers on Father's Day in June. Okay. We've still gotten a crop out of it.
We got a ways to go.
The last 3 years, we've had really good falls, which makes a difference. So, looking at you, about the weather, right? If you're going to bring me all this rain in the spring, remember I told you what last week? Be careful what you wish for.
I know.
So now we're going to need a little bit better fall.
Yeah, we'll
be fine. We'll be fine.
We always are. Always find a way around it.
All right. In fact, Oh, hang on. I have from one of our listeners. She said, how much does that heavy clay soil weigh? So hopefully we get a response from our friend Sarah, who's listening about our clay soils.
Okay, there you go.
Well, so today, I think our class from Northern Cast was a little surprised when I said that we live stream. And I said, we live stream in 3 places, right? Does anybody remember all 3 places that we live stream? They look scared.
Acres
TV, Facebook, and YouTube. You can find us. So if your favorite student's on air today, you can be watching us on those channels. You can find us at WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. You can send emails after they do their stories today. Send us compliments about them or feedback, and you can do that ag or weather at flagfamily.com. And the JLA Insurance phone line is open for you to call with questions at any time, 701-293-9000. If there's a kid out in the hallway dialing that number, trying to call the line while one of their friends is on air, it could happen. Yeah. But we'll try to screen those very well. Okay. So today, our first guest appearance is going to be with Tatum Iwin. How are you, Tatum?
I'm good.
All right. So what grade are you in?
8th.
8th grade? Okay. You said you were a little nervous about this.
Yeah, because my partner did all the work and she's not here.
Hey, at least she's honest, right?
Right. Where'd your partner go?
She got invited to go to the varsity track meet.
Oh, man. So she bailed on this. Okay. So you guys picked a topic, though, and that is?
Pasta.
What do you want to know about? What do you know about pasta? What should we talk about when it comes to pasta today? Phil, you tell us your notes, and then we'll discuss it just a little bit.
Well, last week we went to the Castleton pasta plant, and we learned lots of things about that.
Okay, got to speak up. And what did you learn while you were there?
Any pasta that's wasted goes to the cattle.
Yes.
They make pasta for Kraft mac and cheese.
Oh, at Castleton. Very nice. So it's going to in the blue boxes that everybody loves.
Yes.
Okay.
They ship it in these giant pallets that, like, how they make the pasta.
So they make the dry pasta, ship it on pallets, like in big boxes?
Yes.
Do you remember how big they were or what they weighed or anything like that?
No, not really.
But sizable is what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right.
And did you say the unused pasta gets for feed for the cattle? Really?
Yeah. Cows like a variety in their diet, and sometimes they need extra carbohydrates, right? Like we do in their rations. Because cattle have a nutritionalist. They've got a dietitian just like someone is prepping school lunch for you in the best way possible. And so for cows, absolutely. They even like cookies. Well, don't you like a little sweet treat too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take an Oreo.
I'd take that over a piece of pot. I mean, there's no taste to it.
You could add molasses. I mean, I'm not really into cow recipes,
right?
But I mean, if I'm going to make this happen, these are things I could do. Keep going, Tatum. What else you got?
They make a lot of pasta shapes.
Oh, so it's not just the straight elbow macaronis?
No, they make many.
Okay.
For flour, they hold 1 million pounds of flour.
Wow. So do you know if they go through that in a week or at a certain timeline?
No, there was just lots of flour when we went there.
When you say flour, what flour is primarily thought of coming from what crop? You guys in the gallery over there, shout it out. What crop makes flour? Wheat. Okay. But there's a specific wheat we raise in North Dakota that goes into pasta. Do you remember? Did they tell you what it was, Tatum? Durham. Absolutely. We are part of the Durham Triangle here. Nice work. Okay. What else you got?
Sometimes they use powdered eggs if they have eggs in their pasta.
Well, that would make sense. And right now buying real eggs would be a little expensive, don't you think?
Yeah.
Did you see chickens in the backyard in case they needed extra?
No.
She shook her head, but I got to remind you guys, when you come on air, I can't hear the rocks in your heads, so y'all got to speak, right? You can't just shake your heads. All right, Tatum, keep going.
They're not a name brand like company. They just make for a lot of different companies.
Sure. They're a processor.
Their wheat is grown in North Dakota.
Very nice. Durham.
Yep. And in certain parts of the pasta plant, it's very, very warm.
Oh, I'm sure. They're baking it, right? Literally, they're cooking.
And then spring and winter wheat is grown in North Dakota and Montana.
Absolutely. North Dakota is one of the top producers for spring wheat. We don't have quite as much winter wheat. That's just a factor of our climate and so forth. In fact, this year, some of our winter wheat acres are going to take a hit with having the open winter we did without a lot of snow cover. So it's not going to do quite as well. All right. You got through your notes. Do you feel a little bit better?
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun day. We got lots of good things that we're going to talk about with everybody. Okay. Yep. So it won't be a panic. All right. We are going to switch to our next team. And while we are doing that, we are going to have the American Ag Network do our market update for livestock markets. We're going to see what they have to say. And when we return, we'll be continuing our discussions today with students from the Northern Cass High School creative writing class. We'll be back. Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus, and it's a big day. Lots of folks joining us in studio today. We have with us the Northern Cass High School creative writing class. Mrs. McPherson was kind enough to drive everybody in today. They've got all their notes. They're here to talk different topics with Dean and I, all about weather and agriculture. So what I also want to make sure to mention is they are taking advantage of technology because they do it every day in class. And we have Chris Sherman with Tech Support Farm, who helps the rest of us who are maybe on an older learning curve get better with ours.
Exactly.
He was in the studio yesterday, and I don't know about you, but he left, and I just thought, I have so many things I have to fix. But
Right.
Unreal. So Chris is with, again, as I said, Tech Support Farm, and technology is supposed to help you and your farm run smoothly. Well, if it's not, you need to give him a call. He can help you out in making sure that you have the right passwords, the right emails, that you have servers, that you have camera systems set up for your bin sites, and so much more. So go ahead and be in touch with Chris at Tech Support Farm. So we have 2 more students joining us. We're going to talk about tariffs. So I'm going to ask each one of you to lean ahead to your microphones, and I'm going to have you go first. Tell us your name, your grade. Okay, let's start there.
I'm Harper Olson, and I'm in 8th grade.
Okay, Harper?
I'm Tucker Chaddock, and I'm in 7th grade.
7th grade, okay. All right, you guys said you picked tariffs. How did you pick this as a topic? And get right close to your microphone.
Well, they've just been going up, and lots of people are worried about them, so we're just going to be explaining how they're good and bad.
Okay. Either one of you related to a farm in some way?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Well, this will be fun then. Let's start. All right. So you've got the notes over here. Let's get started.
So in like the past year, not even, the tariffs have been going up by a lot, and they've been affecting farmers by quite a bit, but they can help in some ways.
Okay. So when you think about a tariff, how would you define a tariff? Any idea what that word really means?
It's a tax on imported goods.
There you go. Tax on imported goods. Very good. What particular things are incurring tariffs right now? And when it comes to farming, any idea? That's okay if you don't know. Okay. All right. So fertilizer had been one. We did put that on a exemption list out of Canada. Farm equipment can be one. Livestock. Things like food groups or foodstuffs. Coffee. I think every teacher who's listening just went, what? Coffee. Cocoa can be another one. We do have tariffs even when we import things like eggs, right? During the peak of our egg shortage, we were importing eggs from the country of Turkey. What countries are being given tariffs or not given tariffs? Any idea in your research?
China is the biggest one that has been raised, and there's a few more.
Okay. She's looking at her notes. It's all
I'm
right.
not sure, but I know that there's like some. But
okay. I would say it's easy to address that the majority of countries were given a tariff. Several of them wanted to do something different.
And there's good things and bad things about tariffs.
Absolutely.
So what can you tell us? What are some of the good things and some of the bad things?
What do you think?
So tariffs can also raise price for like us for soybeans or something. But if there's no demand for them, it could also be bad because they would just like go bad and we wouldn't.
So for you, like you said, that tariff could raise the price for you. Where do you think that would affect you most heavily? Got to sit close to your microphone.
The grocery store.
The grocery store. You bet. Tariffs are gonna affect us when we want to go grocery shopping because that adds on to our cost more heavily than what we expected.
So those are the bad things. What about
what about good things?
A few good things.
It's kind of giving a chance for like American-grown companies to like kind of more promote their business. So it's helping them instead of having to like depend on other countries for our needs.
We're looking at having things more in the U.S.
Right. And you'd like to have what we call reciprocal tariffs too, kind of
Sure.
even on both sides.
Yeah. What other notes do you have in regards to that, Harper? Oh, she's looking at her. She had to open up her notes. It's okay.
Well, I saw that it's helping like farmers that like in the Midwest. It's helping them more with like their income because it's like obviously other countries have to pay more to.
So there's kind of a two-sided thing there. For right now, tariffs are coming in on some goods, and that'll maybe level the playing field, I think is what you wanted to say. But in the case of a country like China, one of our concerns is that because they don't want to pay the tariff, they might not buy our goods. And they've been a big buyer of our pork and then also our soybeans. So in that case, we might not see it as a good thing quite yet. Do we know how long tariffs are going to last?
I don't really know.
Okay, that's okay to answer that way.
They might have been like expecting Trump to change it because of how much it's affecting like the U.S.
And there's a lot of countries that have already called our government and said, hey, you want to negotiate? Maybe we could do something different. That's not all bad, right?
That's a good thing.
That's a very good thing. Okay. So other notes that you might have that we haven't talked about yet. Did we cover them all?
I think we did.
Okay. So you guys feel better now? It's not quite as nerve-wracking?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta ask this guy over here, Tucker, something. Is that a tattoo? Do you have ink?
No, I got bored on the bus ride here.
All right. I'm like, wait a minute. He's got a tattoo. I thought, what, eighth grade, right? Seventh grade. I'm like,
you want him to do one for you in the office?
This guy is cool, man. He's got a tattoo at 7th grade. All right.
Dean's just wondering if you do some artwork for him later.
Yeah, I might need
the
it.
other
Right.
office. Well, I don't think that the tariffs, like you guys are talking about, was something that you know a huge amount about, but you guys did a really nice job on your research. Thanks for bringing that in. I think it's something you're going to want to pay attention to because we're going to see how long all of this goes. Before we get to our bottom of the hour news, one of the things I want to touch on has to do with what we're doing right now, getting farmers ready to go to the field, and that is called planting green. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys as students, have you ever heard the term planting green?
No.
Okay. No? Dean, is this something from
I've heard of it. I'm not exactly sure what it is, though.
All right. So it refers to the practice of planting our cash crop, let's say soybeans or corn, and we're going to plant them into an actively growing cover crop. Like we might have planted rye last fall, and the rye is up and growing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come in with a sort of a different drill. We're going to drill those soybeans into that standing rye, and then we're going to let them grow for a little while and then terminate the rye so that the soybeans can continue to grow. The reason that we're doing this is it includes weed control because the rye chokes out weeds that would be a problem. It also gives us better soil health because the rye is going to break down and leave nutrients for the soybeans. It's going to hold moisture for us so that if we get, what did you say, we might have kind of a drier July maybe, Dean?
Yeah, more than likely.
Okay,
yeah.
So maybe we can hold moisture longer because we don't have the open soil surface. So there's a reason why we might be doing more planting green, and we're certainly seeing that happen across North Dakota a little bit more than we have in the past. So look, you guys picked up a new word for today, planting green. I'm sure you'll be talking about it on the bus on the way back, right?
While he's doing a similar tattoo on his other leg.
I'm busted before I even got home. Mom and Dad are listening. They're like, he did what?
Yeah.
So, all right, we've got way more topics to talk about. We are going to touch on our bottom of the hour news. So when we return, we'll have some additional discussion with students as we get ready to work with the class from Northern Cass High School. We're looking forward to it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus and our day with the students from the Northern Cass High School creative writing class. Now, it's rather fortuitous that Northern Cass is not far from our Here We Grow field. You guys will be able to stop out there and check on the field when we don't have time, right? Oh, they're all looking at me like, oh, we got to go to the field now? All right, excellent. But we do have a couple of sponsors who are a part of that, and one is actually Codeco Fields right there in Codeco Fuels right there in Hunter. I stop there very regularly, and for them, they are there to deliver reliable service when you need it, whether it's diesel for tractors, propane for those corn dryers, and so much more. They will keep you and your family and farm running. Then also Ellings & Company. They have so many benefits to drain tile, moving water at the right rate. Why working with a trusted contractor gives you the best ROI? Oh, Ellingson will help you through that. And also they have services like maintenance, repair, and they can really help you understand optimizing your costs of doing the drain tile and why it's important for your fields. Less than 10% of the Red River Valley is tiled at this point. It's not like it's happening everywhere, but it's happening a little bit more often. All right, so we got a couple new students and a new topic to talk about. So, Lily, I'm going to have you introduce yourself, your name, your grade, and then we'll have Michaela introduce.
My name is Lily Evenson, and I'm in 7th grade.
7th grade, Lily. All right, Michaela?
My name is Michaela Christensen, and I'm also in 7th grade.
All right. So how'd you guys pick your topic of the longhorn tick?
So we were just really interested because we heard that longhorn ticks give you alpha-gal syndrome, which is an allergy to meat. But with our research, I guess we didn't see that, but we saw that Lone Star ticks do.
Yep. So there's a couple of things. So we've got the longhorned and the Lone Star.
Yes.
There's two different ones. Okay. And now that's a good point we have to talk about. All right. So, Lily, what'd you learn in your research? And get that microphone right up to you, hon.
We learned that Lone Star ticks give alpha-gal syndrome, which is an allergy to meat, and longhorn ticks give other diseases that infect livestock.
Okay. That's a big differentiation. Now, when we were talking beforehand, I heard you guys say longhorn and Lone Star, and I put them in the same category, and I shouldn't have, right? They're two different things. So can you tell us maybe what's the difference between a longhorn and a Lone Star?
So obviously they look different.
Okay.
Longhorn ticks are more reddish brown, and the females are about pea-sized, and the males are about the size of a sesame seed. Yeah.
They are tiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, Lone Star ticks are brown with a little star on their back, and then males have silver streaks like around their body.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to longhorn ticks, where are they found in the United States? Are they found around here?
No, they're found in the southeast.
In the southeast, so they're not up here yet.
Yeah, but they're coming. They're beginning to spread.
We actually have, I think it was last summer, there was a lot of talk about them moving out of Virginia, getting further along through the Appalachian Mountains.
That's what we read. Yeah.
Okay, so we're starting to see them. Now, have you run across anybody who has been bitten by one of these ticks?
No, I have not. Lily, have you?
No.
Okay. All right. So one of the things, so again, we want to differentiate. You guys, in your research, you saw that longhorn ticks does not give the allergy to meat, but the Lone Star ticks do, right?
Yes.
That's what you read. I do have a friend in South Dakota who has been bit by the tick, and she cannot eat red meat. So what are you going to do differently? I want you guys to imagine that. You got bit. You're now allergic to red meat. It makes you sick. What are you going to eat instead?
Gosh, I guess go vegetarian.
Get chicken.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Pork is a white meat. Venison. She can actually eat wild game.
So how many people, and you guys might not know this, and maybe Bridgette does, how many people are infected by the allergy where you can't eat meat?
I don't know that it's a huge amount.
Okay.
But there is, in fact, there's a select group of people that's an allergy. And some say they've outgrown it. Over a number of years, it lessened in their bodies, that allergy, and they were able to start eating red meat again. But that's not the case for everybody.
That would stink.
That's going to wreck my Sunday night steak night. I'll tell you that right now.
No, nope. Nice, juicy prime rib. Can't have it. No, thanks.
This would not go well. Oh, goodness. Okay, so, ladies, you did fabulous research.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to switch out for our next team. So you guys can put your headsets down, and then we're going to bring the next group in. We're going to have a chat with them. So thank you to Michaela and Lily. They not only were prepared, they brought like handouts for us.
Right.
I mean, this is going great. All right, so got your headsets on for our next team, and then we're gonna do the same thing. You guys pull up nice and close to your microphones, and we're gonna have Kinsley, right? Have you introduce yourself. Get right tight, and then we'll have Ember introduce herself second. Okay, go ahead.
I'm Kinsley Hazel in 8th grade.
8th grade.
I'm Ember Richmeyer in 8th grade.
Excellent. Okay, girls, what are we gonna talk about today?
Food dye.
Food dye. Well, what'd you learn?
We researched a lot about food dyes. We kind of talked about how it's being banned.
Okay.
Or the FDA is working to ban it. And we just did some how it's affecting our food.
Okay. Well, why don't you guys start in on what your notes are? And I'm sure Dean and I are going to jump in with questions. We've already been reading articles in the background and asking some questions of ourselves. So go ahead. Who starts? Kinsley?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the questions is like how dye is affecting our food. It can increase neurobehavioral issues. Some studies show that certain synthetic dyes, it could worsen symptoms of ADHD, anxiety, and like others.
Okay. So we might see some of that. Ember, what else do we learn?
Another question constantly asked is if it is a major health concern. The FDA considers it safe in smaller amounts.
Okay.
It's mostly worried about in children. It's worried about hyperactivity, inattention, allergies, asthma, and even cancer.
Okay. You said smaller amounts. Were you given any guidance as to what constitutes a smaller amount?
I don't think so.
Okay. And here's my reason for that example. Because people talk about certain things like I hear the nastiness on glyphosate. And personally, I'm very much in favor of the fact that we use glyphosate responsibly in the fields. And people say, but it could cause cancer. Do you know how much glyphosate you would have to ingest in order to be affected by it?
A lot?
You'd have to eat roughly 80 bowls of cereal every day for the rest of your life to hit a tolerance level.
That's a lot of cereal.
So when you think about food dyes, where do you find where are the food dyes most prevalent? What foods? Did you see that in your research?
No.
Cereal, M&Ms,
licorice.
candies.
Yeah,
Oh,
candy.
yeah.
So how much red licorice do you have to eat to get sick?
A lot.
The look on your faces is like, I don't know, but I'm willing to stop and buy more.
well, you know, I mean, and we were talking about this, Bridgette. So overseas in Europe, Canada, they've already banned the red dye. The red dye.
Red number 5, I think, is the number.
I mean, it's a good thing. It sounds like. I mean, we don't want our kids. You know, if this has effects on, like you said, ADHD, but we ate that growing up with, you know, Fruit Loops and all that stuff.
We
And
also had TV dinners in high C.
That's true. Good point. Yep. They just called us hyper, but maybe that has something to do with it.
Race around the building. Be right back.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, what else might you have in your notes for us today?
So we did some research on what dyes might be banned.
Okay.
There's a lot of dyes
all right,
that are.
Start sharing.
So there's blue 1, blue
Okay.
2, green 3, red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, which is going to mainly be banned in schools
Okay.
for potential health effects in children.
Okay.
Butter yellow, green 1, green 2, orange 1, orange 2, orange B, red 1, and red 2.
Would it bother you if your food was different colored?
Yeah, I would, yes.
Would it really? Yeah.
Yes.
Even if it was healthier for you.
I think it would, like, if I see Fruit Loops without color in them, I would be really concerned.
So are they using, if they're taking these dyes away, are they using something to replace it? In other words, are they using for like the red dye? Are they using anything natural to
Like beet juice and so
Yeah,
forth?
so- yeah.
Yes, they are trying to come up with some natural alternatives like plant-based instead of oil-based. Like the main oil that they are trying to ban is like petroleum, which is also like if you've seen Vaseline or petroleum jelly, that's what that is.
Right. Yep. That is petroleum-based oils. One of the hardest things for all of us in this country is we eat with our eyes. Have you ever heard that term? And we like pretty food. And if it's not there, I mean, if I don't get red licorice, it's not right.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't
You
it?
eat, like, gray licorice, that would just be concerning.
Gray licorice sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Thank you. You said butter yellow.
Yeah.
Okay. So if your butter's not yellow, would you think that's weird?
I mean, I would be like, is that butter? Like, what am I eating right now?
Yeah, exactly. That's very true.
I could do white butter.
So this is going way back, and I'm doing this off of memory. In the days of margarine, there was literally a butter lobby that fought against margarine being dyed yellow because it would look too much like butter. And so there was a time where if you bought margarine, it came with a dye pack that you could blend in the yellow color so you could do it at home, but they couldn't sell it already dyed yellow.
Do people really care that much that they're
apparently they did. Apparently they really did. Ladies, you did a fabulous job on your work here. Thank you. We've got one more group we've got to swing in here, and that's going to be Brendan. Okay, so somebody's giving up their chair for him. We're gonna whichever side he would like to take. So we're going to switch him out, and then we've got one more topic to talk about today. So again, everybody's been doing a fabulous job, came well prepared. We even have Lennon in the background because she's taking notes and going to report on this whole thing when they get back to school. She's like, oh, I better do a good job. And there'll be pictures taken and everything yet today. So thank you all for coming to join us in studio today. So Braden, I think I said Brendan. Braden, there you go. Got your headset on. Get that microphone up nice and close to you. Let's talk about your topic today, and what is it?
So I am researching metaglasses and how they can be used in agriculture.
Okay, what'd you learn?
I learned that like they can be used to like determine like if a pig is like sick, or like how your cattle is doing, or like if your plants are dying or stuff like that.
So if you got the glasses on and you're looking at, like you said, one of the hogs, what would it indicate that would show maybe the animal was ill?
It would like look for like oddities in the animal, like if it's not acting normal or something like that.
Maybe if they have a lameness. Yeah. Are they able to detect like heat to tell if it has a fever?
I'm not sure.
Do you think that'd be an awesome feature?
Yeah, we should add that.
We should look for that. So what about plants? What did the Meta glasses recommend when it comes to doing plants?
Like you just ask like something like, hey Meta, are my plants doing well? And like it would scan it and like see like if your plants are doing well or if you need to water them more.
Huh. So that you're talking about like a house plant?
Yeah, or like farming plants as well.
In the field? Could it identify bugs?
Probably.
Okay, so we'd know what the pest was in the field. I know that I did a Zoom call with your class and we talked a little bit about the Meta glasses. Do you remember an example that I gave about working on equipment with farmers and they might have their hands full of grease and dirt?
Yeah. I think like if you want to like do like a call but your hands are dirty, Meta will do that for you.
Plus, you could say, hey Meta, take a picture of this. And where do you think that picture could go?
It would go into like your camera roll, or if you wanted to like send it to someone, it could do that.
Sure. Hey, Mr. Partsman, what's wrong with this? How do I fix it? Or maybe you could ask YouTube to play a tutorial that would give you a way to fix what you're repairing. So what do you think? How long until we can buy Meta glasses and use them on the farm?
I don't think it should be too long, but they're probably going to be like really expensive.
Define really expensive. What do you think it might be?
Like 500, 600, maybe in the thousands, I would say.
Wow.
And like anything new, it's expensive, to start off with, but then usually the price comes down after maybe more different manufacturers will be making different kinds and more competition. Yeah.
That would make sense. But so Meta, those are made by who?
I think they're made by the company Meta.
Okay.
They used to be called Ray-Ban glasses, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So if they say Meta, are they tied into like, because Meta also has Facebook, Instagram. Is it all part of the same company? Did your research tell you?
No.
Okay.
I don't think they're part of the same company.
Okay. But we might need a pair. You just never know.
I'll do it.
Now, one thing we didn't do is Braden, your name and what grade you're in.
My name is Braden Lang. I'm in level 7 at Northern Cass.
Excellent. So what have you learned out of your creative writing class? What's been your favorite thing?
My favorite thing was probably going to like the pasta plant field trip. That was fun.
Did you get mac and cheese at the end?
Yep.
See, big win.
And fresh too. It doesn't get much fresher than that.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome. It's been great having the kids here today. Folks, when we return, we want to make sure to give you another round on the weather so that you're prepared for what's up and coming. And we will touch on a couple of headlines before we wrap things up, so stay tuned.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. 1:53 in the afternoon. Going to do a quick recap of weather with temperatures currently out there in the 40s. A little cool out there today. Thankfully, we've got some sunshine, start to dry things out a little bit for our ag community. We've got highs today, making it into the low 50s. That's it, with winds turning to the southwest, 5 to 15. Tonight we'll start off clear, but then turn partly cloudy with lows around 40. And Wednesday, we're looking at increasing clouds throughout the day. Could see a few light showers towards evening with highs in the upper 60s. Showers scattered about Wednesday night and into Thursday with highs Thursday only in the mid-50s. And then we're looking at temperatures around 60 on Friday, and we're back in the 70s over the weekend. The weekend does look nice and mild, but it will be on the breezy side. And this weather is brought to you by Progressive Ag Risk Management Specialists. I'm looking forward to the weekend. It's really going to be our first nice spring weekend here.
Well, as I said, we had a freeze last night, and that made me a little nervous because you've got wet fields. We had a freeze. You've got some seeds germinating. Hopefully everybody was below that line so we didn't do any harm to seeds that were already germinating, etc.
How soon before they can tell
if
there was any damage?
We'll probably know by this weekend if something isn't going to make it, and if we have replants.
Okay.
I hate to talk about replants already. We're just barely planting.
I know, right?
American Crystal Sugar reported as of end of last week they already had 25% of their sugar beet crop in the ground, so that was a nice move. I saw reports this morning saying that statewide we're probably 15% planted on corn, which really a lot of our corn acres fall in southeast North Dakota. So that would make sense. But yeah, we're just going to watch the progression. It'll be May 1st later this week. And so far, so good. Yeah, things are coming
May
along.
already.
Yes.
Yeah. Good deal.
So those sprayers are rolling and they are not going to stop. And in fact, we're doing pre-emerge. We've done pre-plants like Sonaland, Treflands, et cetera, Prowls. And keep in mind whether you want to spray with a sprayer in the field or if you're thinking about spraying your yard, there's still some things that you have to do the right way. One of them is your mixing order. You don't want to just be adding things to your spray tank willy-nilly because it can literally create cottage cheese, taffy, snot. I've heard it described in many different ways. And that is not something that's going to push out through your nozzles, and it's just not going to work effectively. So remember that your mixing order matters. Those are clearly labeled on all of the labels that come with the product that you're going to use in the yard. Also, your sprayers, you need to know that you should start with a half a tank full of water. So if you're in the backyard, you're using a 50-gallon sprayer on your four-wheeler, maybe you've got a little pull behind, you need to fill that with half full of water. On our large sprayers, we've got 1,000, 1,200-gallon tanks. That's 500-600 gallons in the tank first before you start adding chemistry. The reason is if we just start dumping too much product in there at a high concentration, that product doesn't dilute into the solution, and now you have problems where things are, going to create the snot, the cottage cheese. In my prior life in ag chem, getting those phone calls was not a lot of fun because what are you going to do with it? How are you going to clean that out? And where does it go for proper disposal? Wearing the right personal protective equipment is vital. Even if you're spraying your yard, flip-flops are a no-go, people. We're talking long pants, closed-toed shoes, long sleeves. Some will recommend that you are wearing eye protection. Certainly you want to be wearing gloves, washing your hands, etc. So just use common sense. Don't do stupid things. Follow the directions. If you're going to bake a cake, you don't just start throwing things in there willy-nilly. You do follow an order and directions, and it's the same with this. And one of the most important things is make sure the measuring markings are accurate. So I have been that person that gave away all these measuring tubes and pictures. We're like, here, use this to measure your chemistry. And then found out after you handed them out that somebody at the print shop put the wrong measurements on that particular item.
Whoops.
Maybe they put the measurements on for a dry and it's supposed to be a liquid product, etc. So you need to know that your measurements are accurate. And then also if things start looking bad in your spray tank, don't just up your agitation. That turns it into a centrifuge and that can make things worse. So it's kind of like when you're making gravy, you don't always want to just stir faster to get rid of the lumps. That's not going to work. You need to actually use more liquid. You need to bring them back into solution. And remember, if you fill a sprayer and it's, especially if it's got a poly or a plastic tank and it's got to sit for a time, when you do that, that product can be absorbed into the plastic. So when you go back out after you've sprayed out and you want to refill that tank, it can bring in things you didn't plan for, and you can hit off-target plants that way. So be careful with those sprayers, kids.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, hey, we want to thank everybody for joining Bridgette and myself here on Weather and Ag in Focus. Have a great rest of your day, but don't go anywhere. The Jay Thomas Show is coming up next.